Hello, my name is Anthony. Welcome to the training for the Customer Cloud, Media Solution Cloud, and Work and Asset Cloud in Oracle Utilities Cloud Solutions. In this session, we'll talk about the introduction of a batch day dashboard in the Oracle Utilities Cloud Solutions. For the enhancements covered in this training, we'll give you an overview, followed by more detail to explain how to use them and what business value they bring. Then we'll walk you through a demonstration. Next, we'll explain what you need to consider before enabling these features in your business and what you need to know to set them up. Batch processing is an important part of your service. In past releases, the monitoring and reporting of batch processing was restricted to specific batch controls or batch schedules if the inbuilt scheduler was used. From a business and technical perspective, the ability to track batch processes using the business date, a critical dimension used across all batch processing, is important. In this release, we introduce a useful batch day dashboard, which helps monitor batch processing across this dimension, regardless of its origin, and provides the following capabilities. First of all, you can select the business date to help analyze current and business past information quickly. You can select on the business date if known, or a physical date if that's also known. Once you've selected this date, you're presented with two graphs initially. One of the graphs summarizes the business date by state of the job. This will help you quickly identify error jobs or jobs of give you an appreciation of what happened overnight or what happened in the business date. The second graph covers which categories, which subdivides the work by job types to gain appreciation of your workload. The second part of the dashboard includes a list of every execution associated with that business date. These detail might be filtered by the graphs themselves or using filters inbuilt to target specific areas of concern. And lastly, once you've selected a particular execution, you can go to the batch run tree or see individual information about individual key metrics of each thread for more detailed analysis. The batch day dashboard has been introduced to provide the following capabilities. First of all, summarize the process using the business date dimension to match the business processing paradigm. Provide a top-down view of the batch processing associated with the business date. Allow for focusing on jobs using a set of dimensions, including the state and the category. And also provide a detailed analysis of the jobs and the threads of individual executions with metrics to uncover inconsistencies, including data skew. The batch day dashboard provides the business back-office users with important information, including the overall state of batch processing in the context of the business day, breakdown of processing by dimensions to analyze workloads, and details of batch processing in the business day individual process level to gain insights in performance. This demonstration will show how the batch day dashboard can be used by your business. Welcome to the demonstration of the batch day dashboard. The dashboard is accessible from the main menu under Dashboards. You will see a batch day dashboard entry. Once selecting an entry, you're presented with the first zone in the portal. The first zone lists the business dates that are ready for selection, including additional information such as the date, business date itself, the start and end times, which represent the period of that business date, and metrics around the state of the jobs and number of jobs that are executed in that period. Please note the start and end dates are not necessarily inclusive of that business date. It's just that any executions for that business date were in between that period. Now, this zone shows you the top 10, current 10, in reverse order, so the top one's always the latest. You can scroll through the zone to see other dates. You can also filter the zone by either specifying a business date if you know it. If you don't know the business date, you can use the actual date. So if you know something was run on a particular day, you can put that date in and we'll give you the dates that are applicable to that. And you can also exclude or include reruns. Reruns can happen at any time and may affect the start and end dates. So you can exclude them so that you can be focused on particular date and periods. So once you see a business date that you want to analyze, you simply broadcast the date and other zones are open. The first two zones are to show you the state of all the jobs on that business date, as shown by the filters. As you can see here, there's some are complete and some in error. You can apply broadcast filters on other zones in this portal by clicking on the graphs or segments of the graphs. If not, you can just simply just view them. The second zone shows you the breakdown of the workload in terms of category. So each of the jobs are assigned a category, and you can see that in this case 25% were ad hoc jobs and 3/4 were monitoring jobs. You can also see data in a non-graphical format by clicking the grid icon next to the graph of any of the zones, and that will show you in a list format rather than in a graph format. Now, one of the most important zones in this portal is the batch jobs summary zone, which gives you a list of all the jobs that were executed from the business day. Again, this is scrollable, so it shows you 10 at a time, and you can scroll on through those, and you can filter to find particular dates and times or particular jobs, including wildcards. Remember also that this zone is also filtered by the graphs up here. So if you just want to see the error jobs, click on that, and that will just show the error jobs, for example. On this zone, you can see the batch control, the execution, the run number, which tells you the unique run number for the execution, the state, the start and end time for that job, and the duration. And the duration is in a readable format, so it's in seconds, minutes, hours, and days. So you can see in this case, a couple of seconds these are run. And the last piece of information is the number of threads that were allocated to that job. Now, to find, you can actually navigate, you can use navigation, or you can actually use work lists. So you can actually pass all these jobs on this page to a work list to work on them once you've focused it. You can also pass the batch runs to look at the batch run tree if you want to. If you want to see more information about a job in terms of its threads or its detail, you click on the description, and that takes you to a second portal called the Batch Threads portal. And it has a number of zones. So the first zone is a thread summary, which is a summary of all the threads for that particular execution as shown in the filters. So in this case, it was 5 threads. They show the start and end time for each of the threads, what their completion, what their status is, the duration, and again in that format I talked about. The number of records that were processed by individual threads, number of records per second, which is the duration, the number of records processed by duration, a number of errored records, a number of retries, whether that's manual or autonomous retries by the thread. So if the system automatically retried, you can see that. And then there's detail in graphs as well. So for all that information in analytical format, you can see the state, so 100% of the threads completed successfully. You can see the threads by volume. You can see the volume of threads in analysis. So you can see the number of records processed. Of course, the number of records in errors in this case is 0, but you can see the number of records errored. Again, these graphs can be seen in grid format rather than graph format. The last two zones graph the elapsed time per thread. So you can see they all ended roughly the same. In this case, they don't look like they ended the same, but this is only a very short data set, so there's only a second between the ending of these jobs. And you can see the thread throughput zone, which gives you records per second. You can see here that it varies quite wildly based on the number of records and the elapsed time. This is because the workload for each of the threads is not different. It's quite different, sorry, and because of the nature of this job, which is the migration job. So the different migrations have different workloads. Thank you. In this implementation files section, we'll go through what you need to consider before enabling these features in your business and what you need to know to set them up. All the features outlined in this session are pre-installed, pre-configured, and available to all authorized users upon adopting this version. The features outlined in this session have minimal impact on existing capabilities and are implemented as menu options available from the service. The capability is available to all authorized user roles depending on the user groups used by the implementation. The following business processes are impacted by the changes outlined in this session. Batch monitoring. The batch dashboard can be used to monitor batch from a business day perspective. This concludes this presentation. Thank you for listening. You can easily pause and rewind any of these slides if you require additional time to take in the detail.